Welcome everybody again to TERMAS de RIO HONDO. We are heading now into the last race of the weekend in TCR South America. This is TERMAS de RIO HONDO, one of the most sophisticated tracks in South America, alongside Interlagos, alongside Buenos Aires, alongside Curitiba, and this is today's venue for race number 2 of TCR South America, following the early morning win of Pedro Cardoso in a freezing morning. As here we are flying through the circuits, about to get going with the race, with the inverted grid race. -14 degrees is the air temperature. -22 is the track temperature. That means 57 Fahrenheit degrees on the air temperature and 71 on track. These are the 15 entrants we have for this weekend. Here's Pedro Cardoso. Who won race number 1. And here is Leonel Pernilla, who scored a very good result today, reducing the damage after a very, very bad start. This is Juan Angel Rosso. He's starting the race from third row. Rafael Reis here, who stopped on track on the last lap after a good recovery that was leading him to be close to a podium. This is the reverse grid race. That means we have Fabricio Pezzini starting the race on pole position ahead of Gennaro Rassetto and Luis Ramirez and Rafael Reis. This is Juan Angel Rosso in 5th place of the grid, ahead of Leonel Pernilla, of Mariano Pernilla.
Muy buenas tardes, boa tarde a los amigos de Brasil. Estamos a punto de largar la carrera número 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Casa en el circuito de Termas de Río Hondo en Santiago del Estero. Lo tengo a Fabricio Pesini a mi derecha, que va a largar desde la primera posición, desde la pole position. Vamos a hablar con el piloto de San Luis, que tiene la posibilidad de conseguir una nueva victoria. Sería la tercera en este campeonato. Fabri, ¿cómo estamos para esta carrera?
Looking for his third win in this series.
Bien,
How are you feeling for the race, Mauricio?
Very
well.
Un problema en la primera carrera que no nos dejó largar.
Had a little problem in the race number 1 that didn't allow to start.
Hicimos algunos cambios, esperemos
We've sorted it out. We took the chance to do some changes.
La palabra de Fabricio Pesini, quien supo ser campeón en 2022 de la categoría. Vamos a ver,
we're confident for the race, says Fabricio Pesini, speaking with
our
pit reporter Mariano Colombo.
Segunda ubicación, una posibilidad
as we
importante
head now
de
into
subirse al podio por primera vez en el TCR.
Number 66 in second place on the grid is
Gennaro
Rasetto.
En el podio.
One of the good positions to start the race.
Vamos a tratar de aguantar.
Yeah, actually, we will try to hold on to this position and resist. We'll try to overtake Fabricio.
Agarrándole la mano a la tracción delantera, pero bueno, vamos a tratar de estar ahí, hacer prolijo la carrera y terminar lo más adelante posible.
Try to do a tidy race and
Gennaro
finish as
Rasetto,
high
que
as we
larga en
can.
segunda posición, el Gran Premio DirecTV Casa.
Says Gennaro Rasetto, who's starting in second position.
Número 85 tiene que largar de box. Salió con el box cerrado.
And the stewards are warning that Thiago Pernilla, car number 85, will have to start from pit lane. That was the instruction. The voice of the steward said car number 85 must start from pit lane, since the car has left the pit lane with the red light on. The pit lane was closed, so Thiago Pernilla will have to move to the pit lane to start the race, as we watch Pedro Cardoso, who won in great shape race number 1 with a very fierce defense over Nelson Piquet Jr., who was putting huge pressure. Let's have a look at the starting grid. We have Fabricio Pesini, who qualified in 10th, now taking the reverse grid pole position ahead of Gennaro Rasetto, who goes into second place in the Peugeot, followed by his teammates, the driver from Panama, Luis Ramirez, in third place ahead of the Cupra of W2 Pro GP, driven by Rafael Reis. Fifth place on the grid for Juan Angel Rosa from Paladini Racing with the Lincoln Co. ahead of the Honda of Mariano Pernilla from Honda YPF Racing. The Civic behind him is Fabian Gianantuoni of Paladini Racing in another Lincoln Co., followed by the series champion and race 1 winner earlier this morning, Pedro Cardoso from Brazil. Leonel Pernilla from Argentina, the standings leader from Honda YPF Racing in another Civic, takes the start in 9th place ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr., who scored his first pole position yesterday afternoon. Thiago Pernilla, just noticed, he will have to start from the pit lane in P11. that is now belonging to Ezequiel Bastidas, who switches the Audi for the Toyota in Paladini Racing. Adrian Chiriano starts in 13th spot on the grid, leading the TCR Trophy field ahead of Enzo Gianfrati from Port Hack Racing and Marian Incoter, who spun off heading into the grid for Cobra Racing. That's Marian Incoter heading onto the track, starting from the pit lane after she had to be rescued from the gravel trap. Here are the cars heading into the main straights. These are turns 11 and 12. Here are the cars lining up on the grid in a second. We have Here is Thiago Pernia approaching to the pit lane for the start of the race, as he was ordered to do so. All the cars lining up on the grid, and we'll get going. In Termas de Rio Hondo, Pesini on the left side of the screen in the black Cupra, Rasetto in the white and blue Peugeot on the right are now about to start the race. The green flag is waving in the background. TCR South America will start race number 2 in Termas de Rio Hondo. Lights out, and we go racing in Termas de Rio Hondo. Slow start by Pesini as Luis Ramirez will go into the lead, the driver from Panama. Rasetto wants to take second place on the outside, and it could be a 1-2 for PMO Racing. Slight contact between Pesini and Rasetto in turn number 1 as Pesini survives in second and will now go to overtake Ramirez if he can in the inside of the next turn after they go through turn 2. Oh, car spun off, and it's Ramirez. Ramirez loses first place and goes off. Now Pesini in the inside will be back in the lead as Rasetto goes through the gravel trap, and it's a slight contact through the gravel by Rasetto, and Gian Antuoni wants to go into second place. He does, and Rosso wants to be in third now. Rasetto will fall back to 4th position as the two Lincoln Co's are now behind the Cupra of Pesini, who leads the race as we break into turn number 5. In Termas de Rio Hondo, we see the two cars coming from the pit lane in the background. Disaster for Luis Ramirez in the opening lap of the race, as he had inherited initially the lead of the race. And now it's Fabrizio Pesini resisting behind Gian Antuoni, who will try to attack immediately. In third is Rosso, in fourth is Rasetto. That's a slight battle between Bastidas in the blue Toyota against Nelson Piquet Jr. These cars are now heading through turn number 9 and 10. This is the battle for the lead. Pesini leading in the black Cupra. In the blue Lincoln Go, we have Fabian Gian Antuoni. Let's go on board with Rafael Reis. Reis was behind Luis Ramirez. Both lost a few places. Pesini leading the race after the first lap ahead of Gian Antuoni. Rosso, Rasetto, Cardoso, and Mariano Pernia currently sitting in 6th place ahead of Leonel Pernia, Nelson Piquet Jr., Ezequiel Bastidas, and Rafael Reis rounding off the top 10. Look at Luis Ramirez. He fell down to 11th place. This is the replay. Raceto on his own. Went a bit wide. Oof. Hurting a bit the front of his Peugeot with that bouncing on the gravel. There you see the car going through the gravel. Bouncing a bit. Behind where Marian Incote and Thiago Pernilla. This is Cardoso on the replay. In the inside was Reis. Look at Ramirez in front of him, spinning off. Losing all the momentum, and Cardoso taking through the advantage. Mariano Pernilla now battling with Cardoso. Pernilla, who is a teammate and brother of Cardoso's big rival, Leonel Pernilla. Let's go on board. Cardoso resisting, as now Leonel Pernilla is ahead of him. Mariano Pernilla did the job, the dirty job, to hold on Cardoso. And now Leonel Pernilla is ahead of Cardoso. This is a master class from Honda YPF Racing, using all cars against Cardoso. Pretty much it's very big teamwork, as now Mariano Pernilla is also ahead of Cardoso. Nelson Piquet Jr. will be also overtaking Cardoso if he can, sooner than later. There is Fabrizio Pesini trying to lead the race and pull away from Fabian Gianantuoni. There it is. Now Rafael Reis. That's Cardoso now losing terrain with Nelson Piquet Jr. It's a very tough race for the series champion as far as now. Here are the cars. Cardoso now ahead of Rafael Reis. Pesini in first, Gianantuoni in second, Rosso in third, Raceto in fourth, Leonel Pernilla in fifth. Gianantuoni puts loads of pressure on Pesini. Now Reis overtaking, resisting against Ezequiel Bastidas. Here is the overtaking attempts by Gianantuoni over Fabrizio Pesini. The Argentinians occupying the top five. The first Brazilian driver on the standings right now is Nelson Piquet Jr. in seventh place. There you have Gianantuoni trying to overtake Fabrizio Pesini, trying to catch a good top speed on the straights. Ezequiel Bastidas here in 10th place ahead of Luis Ramirez. And here are the top three. Pesini brakes into turn number 5, then turn 6 to the left side here, where they are now heading to. Pesini, Gianantuoni and Rosso, the top three. Very, very low differences, very short gaps between all. That was Cynthia, the wife of Fabrizio Pesini. Leonel Pernilla now overtakes Raceto for 4th place. There he is, going through the Peugeot. Now there is Pesini leading ahead of Gianantuoni, 2/10 of a second. The fastest lap of the race belongs to Thiago Pernilla, who is 9 seconds behind the leaders. That's The replay of Luis Ramirez running wide and losing many positions. Fabian Gianantoni attacking Pessini. All rivals in the Argentinian touring cars for many, many years. Also is in third place, taking care of his teammates in case any approach of Leonel Pernilla shows up in the following laps. Pernilla now has Raceto and Mariano Pernilla going in the inside, trying to overtake Gennaro Raceto for 5th place. He does, and there's Nelson Piquet Jr. also trying to attack, but Raceto will try to recover 5th place from the hands of Mariano Pernilla. He will have the inside line in the next turn. It's the break-in of turn number 7 for the Peugeot. And there he is, locking up the brakes. Slight contact with Pernilla, but inside is Nelson Piquet Jr. He could be a 3 wide into turn number 9. Mariano Pernilla was trying to brake, and in the end Raceto survives. Piquet and Pernilla side by side, and Rafael Reyes wants to join the battle. Let's go on board with him. Rafael Reyes coming out a bit better into the main straight, but Pernilla closes the door. Mariano Pernilla defending as he did for ages in the Spanish national team of football, and in his bright years as a footballer in Atlético Madrid and Getafe in Spain. On board with Pedro Cardoso, right now in 9th place. Pressure on Fabrizio Pessini's wife. Mariano Pernilla battling with Rafael Reyes, surviving ahead, but Reyes wants to battle. Let's go on board with Cardoso. Reyes resisting against Cardoso. Very, very tight battle. Behind them is Ezequiel Bastidas. Now Bastidas going into the inside, but Cardoso closes the line. Behind them is Luis Ramirez, who took turn 1 in the lead of the race in the first lap, but then collapsed after spinning. Now Reyes side by side with Mariano Pernilla, battling for 7th position. Reyes breaking into the outside. Pernilla resisting in 7th place. As we are about to reach the midpoint on the race, We still have 17 minutes left. Race is now ahead of Mariano Pernilla, finally getting 7th place. But Mariano Pernilla is not easy to overtake and will counterattack sooner than later. This is Pedro Cardoso, right now in 9th place, with a whole bunch of cars ahead of him. Between him and his title rival, Leonel Pernilla. There's Mariano Pernilla. Down to 8th place now. Now Fabrizio Pesini seems to be a bit more comfortable in the lead of the race. Two Lincoln goes of Palladini Racing on the podium as far as now. There's a battle between Ciriano and Enzo Gianfratti, leading the TCR Trophy pack. Fifteen minutes left, plus 1 lap. Pesini leading comfortably across the middle point of the race. The gap is over a second now between him and Gian Antuoni. In 3rd is Juan Angel Rosso. Here's Sebastián Martino. Top 4 really separated. Leonel Pernilla with the 40 kilos of compensation weights. On board with Leonel Pernilla in 4th. Fabrizio Pesini leading here, much more comfortable than a few laps before, as the gap is now getting close to 2 seconds of gap. 1.8 seconds. The last lap was 0.3 quicker than the 2nd place driver. I'm talking about Fabian Gian Antuoni. Pesini now holds the lap record. 148.43. Cardoso in 9th place ahead of Bastidas and Ramirez. This is Thiago Pernilla. Here, Adrian Ciriano and Enzo Gianfrati. Ciriano leading the way in TCR Trophy. As we here have the standings on screen, Leonel Pernilla is now 45 points ahead of Pedro Cardoso as we head into Uruguay for the next 2 rounds. Oh, Rosso is stopping. Juan Angel Rosso is stopping on track. He lost 2 places. Let's see if he's in. The engine is really, really low. We have 1 less contender. And now Leonel Pernilla heads into the podium of the race. Race is now in 5th. Gennaro Rasetto is there in 6th position, but battling for 5th with Reis. Mariano Pernilla in 7th, Cardoso in 8th, Bastidas in 9th, and Ramirez in 10th place. Something must have happened. I mean, something has happened with the car. Number 16, now Gianantoni is the sole Lincoln Co in the podium. We'll have to see if that was a puncture or what. Gianantoni in 5th place in car number 5, in 2nd place I mean, ahead of Leonel Pernilla. Piquet Jr. resists in 4th ahead of Reis and Rasetto, but Fabrizio Pesini is now over 2 seconds quicker than some of the cars on track. Let's see which is the gap now that he's crossing the line. 20 minutes completed, 2.1 seconds. Leonel Pernilla in 3rd.
Vibra mucho el esfínter en la recta. Algo ha pasado. Sí, miramos ahora en la televisión, que parece mucho. Pero las gomas parece ok. Parece algo de esfínter.
I have a big vibration in my splitter on the straights, says Fabrizio Pesini. The team says it looks okay from our side. Some thrill, possibly, and yeah, the left hook of the splitter seems to be hanging, yes, and this could be trouble for Fabrizio Pesini. If the car resists, he will be fine, but if not, it could lead to trouble. The tires are seeming to be okay. Otherwise, this could be trouble for the race leader. You can see the left side of the bodywork is really shaking more and more. Gianantoni is in 2nd, Leonel Pernilla remains in 3rd, and Piquet Jr. in 4th. Rafael Reis now in 5th position. Eight minutes and a half remaining. This is our race leader, as there is a drive-through penalty for Rafael Reis. Let's see if we see any replay. Let's have a look at the replay of the starts. Pesini still leading on 2 seconds, and the gap is stable in 2 seconds, so at least his pace doesn't seem to be affected by what we see on the left side of the bodywork. As you can see, it is shaking a lot, more and more, lap after lap. But if it remains in one piece, everything should be okay for him. 7 minutes remaining. It seems to be everlasting for Fabrizio Pesini and W2 Pro GP, now more after what happened with Rafael Reis, that had to go through the pit lane and drop down to 9th position. In Sector 1, Gian Antonio reduced the gap 2/10. Another 10th in the second sector. Rasetto is defending 5th place from Mariano Pernilla, but Pernilla is on the outside now, trying to overtake the Peugeot. Rasetto will break in the inside, and Pernilla tries to dive in, but still Rasetto manages to resist, and now goes a bit wide. I think he went to the pit lane. No, he ran wide and lost the position to Mariano Pernilla, and also with Cardoso, and also with Ezequiel Bastidas. Luis Ramirez seems to be slowly. Yeah, Rasetto and Bastidas here battling for a position. Cars are side by side, now battling for 7th and 8th. Luis Ramirez has stopped on track apparently.
Se la doy para que vaya a buscarlo al segundo, pero si no lo pasa que me la devuelva en la última vuelta. Si no peleamos, como vos quieras.
I can let him by if he goes to catch Gian Antonio and then gives the position back. If not, we'll fight. As you wish, said Leonel Pernilla to his engineer. But the pace seems to be very even between the two cars, and Gian Antonio doesn't make sense, I would say, from our perspective. Ezequiel Bastidas here withstanding the battle with Gennaro Rasetto, surviving in 7th place. Pedro Cardoso has to battle with Mariano Pernilla. Rasetto trying to help his teammate as much as he can. Bastidas is there on the battle. Now the gap is increasing to 41 points. This is the new gap as far as now with these results between Leonel Pernilla and Pedro Cardoso in 1st and 2nd place of the standings. Here's our race leader, Fabrizio Pesini. The gap seems to be stable in 1.5 seconds from Pesini to Gian Antonio. Giannantoni doesn't seem to have so much space to go for the lead. And it's only now reducing to less than a second. There's Juan Angel Rosso next to him. The yellow jacket is his father, Victor, former British Formula 4 driver, Formula 3 driver in England. Had a long spell as a driver in that side, in that part of the world. Victor Rosso. Also worried as Giannantoni tries to go for the lead of the race, and the front side, the front bodywork of Pesini. It's looking worse, but we'll try to secure the win, is the instruction from the pit lane to Fabrizio Pesini. Yes, it is looking worse and worse. Something got loose for sure inside. But of course, Pesini has no other choice rather than trying to survive and win the race. The only choice is obvious. He has to resist. Look at his wife suffering as the front splitter is shaking a lot. Let's see in what shape this car arrives as Fabrizio Pesini is about to open the second last lap. We are entering the final 2 laps of this race. Last 2 laps of the race, and the gap is now 0.6 seconds. Lionel Pernilla is ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr., who will not bother. The nerves in the garages are really, really intense. And here's the Cupra, the black Cupra of Fabrizio Pesini. The bodywork is shaking more and more, and the car's hood is now in danger. See how he has to do. Final meters, last 2 laps. Let's see how long this bodywork lasts, and it's really thrilling to watch the end of the race as Fabian Giannantoni can't do anything else but put in all the pressure he can and waits for the bodywork of Pesini to collapse. Black Cupra going through turn number 9 and 10 in this last stakes. Turn number 12 now for the Cupra. Giannantoni wants to go through the inside, and we'll see if this is affecting the braking temperature, the brakes temperature of Pesini, who is now about to open the last lap of the race, and it will be a thrilling last lap in TERMAS de Rio Hondo. Fabrizio Pesini trying to withstand in the lead of the race with the shaking bodywork. Fabrizio Pesini hopeful of a winking eye of destiny in his favor. And the black Cupra resisting in the last meters of the race. Lionel Pernilla set to arrive in third. Fabrizio Pesini now having Giannantoni right on his shoulders, and it's the last effort for the bodywork of the Cupra that will start shaking as soon as the car catches speed in the straights. This is the last lap of the race in this event number 4. Race number 2 is about to come to an end. Pesini's wife is suffering as the hood is set to come off, and it's really dangerous now. Yeah, the curse is obvious, and Giannantoni goes into the lead. Fabian Giannantoni goes into the lead of the race. We'll see how long Pesini can resist, at least to hold on to second place. And the luck has played in favor of Fabian Giannantoni, who goes into the lead of the race in the last lap. It will be another win for Paladin Racing, as the eyes are now rolling in the garage of W2 Pro GP. The bodywork collapsed, and now Pesini will try to resist Lionel Pernilla could have a double podium now with his team, with him and Piquet. Pecini now resisting in second position, but it's very, very dangerous because he has no visibility at all. And Lionel Pernilla could overtake him. There is Lionel Pernilla going through, and Piquet will do so the same as Fabian Gianantuoni will now get into the last lap, into the last turns. And it will be a big, big strike of luck for Fabian Gianantuoni, who wins race number 2 in Termas de Rio Hondo. Double podium for Honda YPF Racing with Lionel Pernilla and Nelson Piquet Jr. Pecini has to arrive in 4th after having led in fantastic shape most part of the race. Disaster for W2 Pro GP in the last meters. Here's our winner, Fabian Gianantuoni. Adrian Chiriano has won the race in the TCR Trophy. Here is Fabian Gianantuoni. Our race winner. Celebrations unleashed on the radio comms. And we'll have a look at the final standings. Fabian Gianantuoni won the race ahead of Lionel Pernilla. Nelson Piquet Jr. in 3rd. Fabrizio Pecini in 4th. Mariano Pernilla in 5th. Pedro Cardoso in 6th. Gennaro Rassetto in 7th. Thiago Pernilla, Rafael Reis. And the TCR Trophy winner, Adrian Chiriano, in 10th place. Ahead. Offenso Gianfratti in 11th place, Marianin Cotter in 12th, and Ezequiel Bastidas in 13th. Luis Ramirez and Juan Angel Rosso could not finish the race. Here's Fabian Gianantuoni celebrating the win. Here is our podium with the Lincoln Co in the win and the 2 Hondas. With the fishing rod, Lionel Pernilla grabs more and more points round after round. Mauricio Pesini really frustrated after what happened in the last lap. It's heartbreaking.
Estamos con Fabián Gianantuoni, ganador de la carrera 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Casa. Patito, qué linda carrera al final. Pudiste aprovechar, ¿no?, el inconveniente de Pesini para pasarlo.
Bueno, sí, buenos días, la verdad que feliz. Terma me trata bien. He tenido la oportunidad de ganar muchas veces acá. Y bueno, circuito que me encanta. La verdad que creo que fue clave la largada para nosotros. Pudimos quedar segundo ahí en 3 curvas. Lo corrí las primeras vueltas a Pesini, no pude, y después la verdad que él tenía mucho mucho más ritmo. Nosotros tenemos algunos kilos de la carrera pasada y creo que eso dolieron. Pero bueno, sobre el final él tuvo un problema, vi que le vibraba el piso y empecé a apretar y bueno, hasta que la última vuelta tuvimos la oportunidad de pasar la punta. Una lástima por Fabricio, creo que había hecho todo bien. Pero bueno, son las carreras, estoy feliz por todo el equipo. Todo el BRB Racing, que realmente viene haciendo un trabajo fantástico desde que hemos recibido estos links. Siempre el trabajo ha sido para mejor. Y nada, los resultados creo que estaban al llegar. Tuvimos mala suerte en las primeras fechas, pero hoy la verdad que estamos bien.
La palabra de Fabián Gianantuoni, ganador en la carrera número 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Casa.
We will head into the podium shortly. And here is our podium with the Honda drivers and the Lincoln Co. of Fabián Gianantuoni. Argentinian anthem now playing. Argentinian anthem playing in tribute to our winner Fabián Gianantuoni. Trophies for Nelson Piquet Jr. for Piquet, for Pernia, and for Fabian Gianantuoni. And now it's time for the champagne. Trophy's being handed. And this is Nelson Piquet Jr., the driver of the weekend. And we'll move now on to the TCR Trophy podium also. Marianne Cotter in third place of TCR Trophy. Ahead of her, it's Enzo Gianfratti. And Adrián Chiriano, the winner of the round. Héctor Farina, the owner of the circuits, the director of the circuits, will hand in the trophies. Very, very nice weekend we've enjoyed in Termas de Rio Hondo, and it's the wrap-up for Argentina in this 2025 season, as we'll now head into 2 rounds in Uruguay. Go to Mercedes in Uruguay. And we are wrapping up this weekend from Termas de Rio Hondo, ladies and gentlemen. We're really grateful for your company. One more weekend in TCR South America. My name is Francisco Aure. Thanks a lot for being with us, and see you very, very soon.